Greetings, my name is Cristian Rivera, and today I'm going to be talking about my essay, which focuses on how objects contribute to one's identity. The object that I decided to write about is a sword. Though it may sound childish, this sword took part of an important event in my life and contributes to my identity. First of all, I want to talk about how this object came to be. I purchased this sword for the purpose of completing a costume of Captain Hook. It was my first time participating in a play. The play was about the story of Peter Pan, and I was chosen to be the antagonist, Captain Hook. This sword was present in both the rehearsals and the play itself. First, I want to explain how the object impacted my identity in the past. My object helped me become a confident person, since it reminded me of the time of my auditions before becoming Captain Hook. I remember auditioning for a secondary character, but the teacher of the theater club told me that I should be a main character instead, because I had a talent for voice management, memorization, and facial expression. This sword helped me understand all the hard work that I went through and that I had a talent for acting. The professors Daniel Stevens and Paul M. Kamek and the clinical psychologist Rob Solway described these objects as comfort objects that give a sense of identity continuity by providing people with reminders of where they came from and important events in their lives. My sword also helped me push aside other people's negative opinions, since it reminded me of the story of Captain Hook. I remember how I needed to deal with people underestimating me and laughing at me in theater club. They believed that my personality did not fit with the character that I was going to represent. I was an introvert and I was very conservative. My sword helped me overcome the situations, since it reminded me of how Captain Hook went through adversities, but he kept on being proud of who he was and continued seeking for Peter Pan and the treasure. I decided to do the same as Captain Hook. I understood that even though I went through adversities, I needed to complete my goal, which was to give the best of myself as Captain Hook in the performance of the play. Beth, an Orthodox convert that the professor Daniel Winchester had to interview for his study of how icons contribute to a convert's identity, went through a similar situation. She was struggling with forgiving someone who had caused her a lot of pain. And she remembered the story of Saint Elizabeth by looking at an icon of this saint. She remembered how Elizabeth had forgiven the killer of her husband. And she realized that she had to forgive also. Now I want to talk about how the object impacts my identity. My sword demonstrates the part of me that is interested in the performing arts, since it preserves the memories and the story of when I used to be an actor. The psychologist Cristian Rivera says that our possessions allow us to signal something about ourselves to other people. This sword represents my identity as an actor and how I have developed myself in the field of performing arts. This will be the information that I will provide to others and myself. Finally, the sword will encourage me to discover new talents and reach new limits, since it will remind me of the time that I decided to experiment something new and achieved a goal. Charles, another Orthodox convert interviewed by Daniel Winchester, passed through a similar situation. Daniel located an icon of Christ in a visible place in his workplace. And whenever he looked at the icon, he would be encouraged to act in accordance to Christianity. I also have my sword in a visible place in my room, and I will be constantly reminded to try something new and act in accordance to the actor that I used to be. I became an actor with the sword, and now this sword will remind me and others about this actor that I used to be, encouraging me at the same time to achieve new limits that I never thought about before. Thank you for your attention.